So before the shiur begins, I want to tell you that since today is a Sor B'Teves, I only learned this year something very interesting. That I don't remember who's the one who's saying it. That the Sor B'Teves is the day in which Hashem decides whether Beis Hamikdash will be built or not, which is a big chiddush. Apparently, it's like a Yomi Din for the Geula versus Churban. That's a Sor B'Teves. You would have been allowed to fast on Shabbos had the Sor B'Teves fell on Shabbos. The Sor B'Teves never falls on Shabbos. But if it fell on Shabbos, you would fast on the Sor B'Teves on the expense of Shabbos. That I did know, but why? Because it's a sakona. You're allowed to fast on Shabbos when there's real, or to daven for someone, or do whatever needs to be done if there's an immediate danger. So because the Sor B'Teves is not something about the past, the Sor B'Teves is about the future, whether we will have Golus, Khalil, or Geula, that we're allowed to fast. So we have to understand the importance of this day. So have a meaningful fast. Okay, Beseder. So we said the Nishmas. We are in Mem Zayin Amud Beis at the bottom of the page. What? If you can tell people to be quiet, you'll do me a huge favor. I gave up already. I gave up. Okay, I'm sorry to my listeners. I apologize that there's always background noise, but some things I can't control. We are in Mem Zayin Amud Beis. Mem Zayin Amud Beis. Mem Zayin Amud Beis. I sent a chart yesterday, but it was late at night. I don't know if you saw it. Basically, Machloikes Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish, the Amoraim, how it reflects on the Machloikes Tanoim, Chachomim, and Rabbi Shimon. I'm going to revise this, okay? Okay, Beseder. For the Refuah of Aviv Bas Dvorah. Yeah. So, let's see. We saw Machloikes in the Mishnah, right? What was the Machloikes in the Mishnah? What happens when a person gave money, a buyer gave money, but he didn't yet receive the goods, there was no meshicha yet. So we said it's not a kinyan. Everybody knows that money is not koine the metaltelin. Money doesn't acquire the metaltelin. So therefore what? Say chachomim. Chachomim say you can regret, you can both sides, as long as there's no meshicha. Keep the picture in your mind, by the way. What do you mean there was no meshicha? The seller received the money, yeah, and the wheat, let's say, is in his hands, okay? So he has all the power. He has the money and the wheat in his possession. Say chachomim, everybody can regret. Says Rabbi Shimon, no, only the seller can regret. Now, how would Rabbi Yochanan explain that? According to Rabbi Yochanan, let's start first with let's start the other way. Let's start with Reish Lakish. What was the machlokas Reish Lakish and Rabbi Yochanan? Reish Lakish and Rabbi Yochanan were Amoraim. They did not argue with Rabbi Shimon and Chachomim. They argue how to explain Rabbi Shimon and Chachomim. Okay, Amoraim argue about Tanoim. This is always happening that we have to discern and explain that. Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish argued, and we're going to see the argument today again. Why is it that a person cannot be koine with money, with cash? Why can't he purchase something but just giving the cash? Says Reish Lakish, you know why? Because that's what the Torah says. The Torah says, "Oy konom yad mitecha, konom yad mitecha." The Torah prescribed. The Torah made not a din Torah, that meshicha is what's going to create the kinyan, and money is just not. He doesn't believe in any of the sources of Rabbi Yochanan. That's it. Now, how do you explain the Machlokas Tanakama and Rabbi Shimon? According to Tanakama, says Reish Lakish, very good. Tanakama is my man. Why? Because Tanakama really is the one who says that you're just never koine. It's not a gzera. Koine, moicher, everybody, my grandmother, everybody can be choizer. Why? It's not a kinyan. Finished. That's number one. Mashen Ken, that was who? That's explains Chachomim. Mashen Ken, Rabbi Shimon, no. Rabbi Shimon says Reish Lakish believes thinks like Rabbi Yochanan. Get it? When you see the chart today, open your emails today, please, and you'll see the chart there, then you'll understand it. In other words, Reish Lakish, and this is something important to understand, believes Rabbi Yochanan's svar could be true. And he says that's exactly what Rabbi Shimon says. But I follow Chachomim. Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Shimon believes that there's a gzera. What's a gzera? The Gzera, which is Rabbi Yochanan's reason, Rabbi Yochanan's reason is, I'm sorry, I skipped Rabbi Yochanan's reason. Excuse me. Rabbi Yochanan says the reason why kesef is not koine, lest the moicher, the seller, would tell the buyer, I'm sorry, there was fire in the attic, and I didn't feel too motivated. Yeah, I wasn't really incentivized. That's the word, incentivized. My wife told me that word. Incentivized to say what? To save the chitim. I have the money. The kinyan is a done deal. The chitim were yours under my non-shmira, or maybe it was oines. Tough luck. We want to avoid that. Because we want to avoid that, and who should be able to be choizer boy? Who should be able to regret and change his mind? The moicher. He's the focus. He's the one. But the koine, why should he change his mind? Why? There's no reason for us to change his mind. Understand? That's Rabbi Yochanan's reason, and Rish Lakish agrees with Rabbi Yochanan according to Rabbi Shimon. In other words, according to Rish Lakish, the Tanoim argued the machloikis of him versus his opponent Rabbi Yochanan. That's how Rish Lakish would understand it. I am Rabbi Yochanan. Now comes Rabbi Yochanan's turn, and here I have to again explain something that I said yesterday, which I said incompletely. Yeah, Rabbi Yochanan. You know what? Let me actually read it inside. Let's read it inside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines from the bottom of the page. 6 lines from the bottom of the page. In the middle of the line, Ela Rabbi Yochanan. The line starts with the word Hainu, and the word is Ela. Ela Rabbi Yochanan. Ma ika ben Rishvim l'Rabbanon. According to Rabbi Yochanan, what did Rabbi Yochanan say? Really, midoraisa, money should acquire. Why? Money is always a mega kinyan. We see it by karka, we see it by avodim, we see it everywhere. Elamai, there's a gzera. We tell the who? The moicher, hey, you don't regret. Yeah, sorry, you may be able to regret who? The moicher, because we want you to be able to be incentivized to look after the chitim, knowing you may be able to cancel the deal. According to Rabbi Yochanan, ma'ika ben Rabshim l'Rabbanon. What is really the bone of contention? What is the logical difference between Rabbi Shimon and Rabbanon? What made Rabbi Shimon say what he says? What made Rabbanon say what they say? Lich'oira, Rabbi Shimon is always right, according to Rabbi Yochanan. Why? Because the focus is on the seller. The seller is the one which we want to keep on his toes and never be too complacent and snuggle under his what? His blanket and not extinguish the fire. We want the seller to always think, maybe I'll be able to cancel the deal because maybe I'll make more money. And this way he'll save the goods. If so, what's the difference between Shem Rabbanon? Answers the Gemara, and this is basically where we're holding and where I lost it yesterday. The difference between them, according to Rabbi Yochanan, the Rav Chisda. The difference between them is according to Rav Chisda. Is Rav Chisda's statement. The Omer Rav Chisda. Says Rav Chisda, the Moira, Kederich shetiknu b'meshicha b'moichrin, kach tiknu meshicha b'lekuchois. Says Rav Chisda as follows. Just like meshicha is a takono midarabonon, and this is obviously Rabbi Yochanan talking, Rav Chisda is Rabbi Yochanan's friend. B'moichrin, we were metakin in order so the moicher should not regret, so the moicher should have the incentive to always look after the chitim and save them, knowing that it's not yet a done deal, and maybe you'll make a better deal, maybe you'll be able to regret. Just like that. Tiknu meshicha b'lekuchois. Oh, what does mean tiknu meshicha b'lekuchois? Let me say this now outside, not in Rashi. This Mechavrus explained to me something very simple, not like I said yesterday. Meshicha b'lekuchois. Listen, because now I'm correcting what I said yesterday at the end of the Shiur. What's a takona b'lekuchois? As opposed to what I said yesterday, it's the focus is always on the mocher. We always want the mocher, the seller, to run out of his bed in the middle of a wintry, windy night like we had last night, and go to the attic, go to the machsan, drive all the way there, and extinguish the fire. Why? Sometimes it's done because his idea is he doesn't want the buyer to regret. Says Rashi, sometimes the buyer knows what's going on with the seller. Let's say the buyer lives nearby. Let's say he got a WhatsApp message. Let's say he got, I don't know, he knows, he sees the smoke starting. Then what? The moicher, the buyer may say, I don't want that. Before it burns, I quickly, if my money is by what's his name and my wheat is there, but the other party, I want out of it quickly before it burns. Chavrusa said, your daughter is about to close the shidduch to get engaged, and you hear some really bad news about the guy. Ha ha, boom, out of it, right? If I see that my schoira, my potential schoira, is what is already is burning, I'm out of it right now, right? So now the moicher, the moicher knowing that, the moicher knowing that will quickly run in order to save it. Sometimes the moicher is the one who wants to keep it and not the buyer. The moicher would run quickly and save it and say, don't worry, your schoira is not getting lost. There is no bad news. And let's continue the deal. So that's why the moicher will run out of his bed and start dealing with the fire. So the coin of the buyer should not change his mind. Yeah, 1 second. And that's why with the metaken meshicha, 1 second, Rab Shimon leisle the Rav Chisda. Rab Shimon does not have that concern. Rab Shimon is only concerned that the moicher should be able to still hold the cards and change the game and not yet the final kinyan. So he should be incentivized and he should mitzido from his own psychological reason want to keep it. That's what Rab Shimon believes, and that's why only the seller can regret. Rabbanan islu de Rav Chisda, full stop. Rabbanan believe in Rav Chisda's concept. Rabbanan believe that we should be concerned both ways. We want both sides to be able to change their minds as long as there's no meshicha, meaning as long as the chitim are besakana, something may happen to the chitim, because both sides being able to change their minds will incentivize the seller to act. That's where I went wrong. Not that the buyer would do anything, the seller would do something in order to make sure, quick, I'm saving it. So Mr. Buyer should definitely want to continue the unfinished kinyan. That's where the kinyan, as long as there was no meshicha to the buyer's house, is not yet finished on both sides, according to Chachamim. According to Rabbi Shimon, only one side. Yet Rabbi Yochanan stands very staunch in his position that the entire business of meshicha being kone, not money, is only medorabanan, to make sure that the mocher, that the seller behaves himself. Baruch Hashem, I got it clear now. I hope you also have it clear. Questions and comments can be sent. No, it was first. You can watch it online, live. Okay, they're on. Oh, it's none. Now we're going to mention another very important point in the Mishnah, and we're going to continue to see who's right. Rabbi Yochanan Resh Lakish, who is halacha like. Aval Omru, we said at the end of the Mishnah, famous line, Aval, what's Aval? But, although what? Although we said that a person who gave money is not yet a done deal, it's not a finished business, Omru, Chachamim said, Mishepor midor mabul, hu asid lipora, mimisha inobet b'diburoi. The one who punished, the one who took revenge from Dor HaMabul, from the Rishoim of Dor HaMabul, those people who were thieves, he will avenge, he will punish the one who does not stand by his word. Which means, although the kinyan is not a kinyan after money was given, but money given is such a close stage, it's a close call, giving the money, it's very close to finishing the deal. If at that point one of the sides regrets, according to Chachamim, both sides, right? You still say, hey, you bad boy, you should be cursed by Hashem. It's not a done deal. You may gain more. You, Mr. Seller, you say, no, I want to regret. I found a better buyer than you, a better price. Although money was already given, at that stage, it's so late, you're allowed to change it, meaning you will be, halachically, is that everything will be sort of, undone. Everything will be unraveled. But Lamaisa, you're going to get the klala. Okay, break the Gemara now. At what stage do we put that klala on him? Not when they were chatting or talking about the kinyan, but when they gave the money. Let me just clarify it for you. Before we continue, this is not a big chiddush. Every person who ever bought anything in his life, more than a pair, anything more than bananas, whatever, knows there are usually in halacha there are 3 stages to the kinyan. One stage is you show interest, and let's continue into getting really hot about it, really serious about it. Let's say you already told your friend, I'm interested. Wow, I'm interested in that apartment, in that car, and your beautiful, amazing motorcycle. Then comes the stage of, but that's not yet a kinyan, but we're really serious about it. Then we have the stage of giving the money, which is not yet a kinyan. Let's follow Chachamim. And then comes the stage of a kinyan, right? The middle stage has talking, but giving the money, it's not yet a kinyan. But at that stage of giving the money, that's when, if you changed your mind after that point, it's a point of yes return, but you get a klala. You considered as a dishonest person, and you go to Beis Din. We'll see later, according to some opinions, Allah Beis Din puts a curse on you. Maybe you made more money on the deal, and you sold your motorcycle to somebody who offers you more money. But Lamaista, the klala you get, not you. Yeah, you get the Shepara. Now, now the Gemara wants to attack who? To challenge Rish Lakish. If you tell me that money the oraisa can purchase, what's the difference between Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish, my friends? When money was given, did something happen according to anybody? Yes, yes. According to Rabbi Yochanan, midoraisa, there was a kinyan, and Chachamim came and cancelled it. But Chachamim can't chas v'shalom make fun of what the Torah says. Chachamim can't always be mafkia what the Torah says. In other words, according to Rabbi Yochanan, we have remnants of our tradition and religion that the Torah says money can buy. Chachamim sort of annulled it because they can play around whichever way they want when it comes to money, but there is something there. In the Midin Torah, yeah, the money did buy, and Chachamim came and said, no, we have the right to change it into meshicha. But kinyan money is something. Well, according to Rish Lakish, kinyan of money is nothing. According to Rish Lakish, according to Rabbanon. If you follow Rabbi Yochanan and you tell me the money buys midoraisa, be'aval. That's why the person stands with this aval. Aval meaning he gets the klala of aval, but whoever changes his mind, changes his word, gets a punishment like the mabul. But if you tell me like Rish Lakish, the money does not buy you anything, never was, never is, never will be. Money has nothing to do with kinyan. Amai kai be'aval. Then really, why is it bava? Why is the person punished and not punished, cursed, to be told, but whoever is Shepara is going to get the terrible klala? The fact he gave the money is not really anything significant anyways. Why is the giving of the money any significant point in the story? Answers the Gemara, Mishum Dvorim. Enochinami, it's because he spoke too much. What do you mean spoke too much? Because he said, I want your motorcycle. Yes, for sure I'm buying it. That's why he's punished. Yeah, I made you understand that I'm really, really hot in your motorcycle and I want it. And you're all excited. You made a party for your wife and friends. You're selling the motorcycle. And all of a sudden you regret. I regret because I made you understand that and I regretted. That's why. Just because of talking and promising, is that a reason to put a curse on the person? It's not because of the money. It's because of the words that he spoke and he promised and he made him understand that he's interested and then disappointed him. Is that enough to put the curse on the person of the aval mishapora? Tanya, look at this brisa. Rabbi Shimon says, Tosis points out this is Rabbi Shimon's opinion. Rabbi Shimon says as follows. Remember what we said about a dinar zov? You tell me, people, is the golden coin considered as money or as goods? It's considered as goods comparing to what? To silver. However, listen to this. Talis koina dinar zov. Ooh, the ain dinar zov koina talis, which means, you said beautifully, comparing to a silver coin, a gold coin is goods. However, gold coins vis-a-vis a suit, a talis is what? Relativity. Ever heard of Albert? You know Albert? Albert E. He said relativity, right? Which means what? When gold coin, a coin with a king's face on it, a gold coin that exists today, if that is given for a talis or for shoes or for a computer, they're considered to be the money. They became the money in the story. It's all relative. That's how we pass it. So that's what Rabbi Shimon says. Dinar Zav is not koine talis, which means if I gave some gold coins for your fancy suit, let's say you sell a fancy suit, a very nice baguette from Harrods. You sell a dress for Harrods for 50,000 shekels. So I give you a few gold coins for the dress from Harrods. Cost 50,000 shekels. Yeah, I give you 5 golden coins for 50,000 dress. I gave you the coins. Can I regret after giving coins? The coins being money? Yes. Yes. What do you mean I can regret? It's not a deal yet. Because gold coins vis-a-vis dress is considered to be money. Money given, I can still regret. What do you mean I can regret? It's not a done deal. I'm allowed to by the letter of the law. Will I chas v'shalom get a curse from the Eibishter? Yes. And as the Brisa says, Mikol Mokoim Kach Halocha, that is at the end of the day, Ze Aloche, that you can change your mind after giving coins. What about if you sell the dress from here? It's 50,000, you went to London, you came with the dress, 50,000 shekels. If I pulled the dress from you, from my wife, then I can't regret. That's meshicha, right? If I gave you the coins, I can regret, we can both regret. Although we can regret, aval, but since money was given, there's real transfer of money. Omru, Chazal said, Shepara, listen to this one. We're going to talk about 4 different types of Rishoim. Shepara, the one who punished, the one who avenged, Ma'an Shedora Mabul, from the people of the Mabul who were Gazlonim. Ma'an Shedora Palogo, the one who were Baalei Mechlokes, the one who built the Tower of Babylon. Ma'an Shesdoim Va'amoiro, people very moral in Sodom and Gomorrah. Yes, Sodom Va'amoiro, the one Hashem punished them. Umi Mitzrayim B'Yam Suf. Yeah, from the Egyptian in the Red Sea. What's the common denominator between all 4? They were publicly punished. It was a big public kivyochel show of Hashem's anger. So too, that mighty one who osid lipora, he too, the one who punished all 4 Rishoim, all 4 types of Rishoim, he will osid lipora, he will be nifra, he will punish mimishenemet b'diburoi. Wow. So once money was given and you are changing your mind past that, you're going to get a wako of a curse from Hashem, and you should just know that. However, continues the Brisa, the one who said, "Oh, parents, you came with that dress. My wife likes it. He came with a 50,000 shekel dress. I promise you, I really want to buy it. Keep it for me. Yeah, I'm telling you." But no money was given. Just a lot of serious talk. Negotiation and serious talk about it. There was no kinyan whatsoever. The Chayzer boy, the one who regretted from that stage of talking and promising, but not yet giving the money, he's in a different level. And Ruach Chachamim noicha imenu. Chachamim, I shall say in very simple English, I'm sorry I don't have fancy words. Chachamim don't like that guy. Chazal, the Das Torah of Chachamim are not crazy over this guy. It's like a really not nice thing to do. Chazal are not in your favor. I haven't seen the halacha yesterday. I prepared the shiur with more depth later. I didn't see the halacha, what it means halachically, but let's not get nitpicking. Nobody wants to be in that position of Chazal, the great ones, don't like me. So wait a second. So what do you see? Right? Comes Rav and stresses. There are 3 stages. Now it's getting clearer. The Omar Rava wants to clarify the Brisa and says, Anu, ein lanu, all what we know, all that we have at the earlier stage of what? Of talking and promising, but not yet giving the money, all we have is Ela en ruach chachamim noicha himenu. Oh, question mark. What did we see? We see that there are 3 stages. Stage number 1, I'm telling parents, I really want the dress for my wife. Yeah, 50,000 is no problem by me. Yeah. And what? And parents is all happy selling the dress. And then I'm saying, no, I'm sorry, I'm regretting. That's not Shepara. That Ruach HaChomim is not happy. That's not the right thing to do. If I gave the money, that's getting hotter. That's, getting to stage B. I gave money. That's a more serious stage, right? And only then we say Shepara. Then we say, if I regret that, I can regret. Yeah. And Chachomim can actually tell both sides, undo the whole thing, unravel and revoke everything. But then you're going to get a klal. You go to Beis Din, and Beis Din gives you the klal. And the 3rd stage is the kinyan, that's meshicha. So again, the question is really, how does Rish Lakish understand that story? According to Rish Lakish, why is it that giving the money is a crucial stage? Because Rish Lakish believes giving the money is not anything, right? And don't tell me it's because you spoke. Because when you spoke and didn't give the money, that you don't yet get Shepara, right? The answer is quite an easy answer. Yeah, in other words, make up your mind. By talking alone, you don't get Shepara. Once you gave the money, that is already called something. And do you mind if I answer? And then you answer the Gemara. Easy. Dvarim ve'ika b'hadayu mois. Kai be'aval. And Hanami says, Rish Lakish, I don't think giving the money as of itself is a kinyan midoraisa. However, every child knows that if I told you, parents, I'm buying this, I'm buying the rest, dvorim, plus money was given, that shows super, super seriousness. Not because giving the money is halachically something, because ask Tim McKenzie and Tom McKinley and Mahmoud Abbas, they would all tell you, if I'm close to the deal and I give the cash, even if Jewish people don't believe giving cash is a kinyan, that shows a very, very serious touch. And then you're Shepara. If you only spoke, but you did not yet give the money, then you don't get the curse. You just get the one stage before of Chachamim making a discontent face towards you and wagging the finger, but not more than that. That is the earlier stage. So let's summarize. Rashi here says, by the way, and thank you for your patience. I appreciate that, but I want to continue, and then we're going to have a stop. Then you can say whatever you want. Says Rashi something very, very interesting. What would be halacha lemaisa? It's a big machlokes rishonim. Would there be any practical difference between Rabbi Yochanan and Lakish? You guys were right. You all said nicely, no. Rabbi Yochanan and Lakish, at the end of the day, bonon doraisa, we are Orthodox. We keep the Rabbanan. We wash our hands, the Tilas Yadayim. And you know what? They even lit Hanukkah candles this year, right? In other words, who cares the rice of the Rabbanon? Who cares whether kinyan kesef, right, is completely invalid, even though raisa was shlakish, or kinyan kesef is valid with the raisa, but Chachamim annulled it, which is Rabbi Yochanan. At the end of the day, kinyan kesef doesn't work, right? And kinyan mois and kinyan meshicha, everyone agrees does work. Where would there be a practical difference between them? Says Rashi something very interesting, which is not simple, but Rashi says that as follows. Rashi says, Chachamim cannot completely annul the kinyan midoraisa, for example, for Eshes Ish. For example, let's say I gave money to, when you get tired of me and my motorcycle nonsense, you can tell me, yeah? When it gets too much. Not me. I'm Baruch Hashem, I'm very happily married. That I want to tell you. Let's say a Bachor who is not yet married, and he's a very shticky, cool guy. He says, I want to be Mekadesh my Kala with a motorcycle, and post it all over the internet. Who has a beautiful motorcycle? Tzvi. Says the guy, I'm going to give Tzvi the money, the motorcycle, for what, 15,000? I lost 60. Every day goes up. What do you think? Excuse me. Are there no meshicha yet? Inflation. Beseder. And there was no meshicha. Money keeps, okay, 16. Sweet 16. So the Bacher gives Tzvi 16,000 shekels, and the motorcycle is in Tzvi's house still, right? And now, what? And now, everybody, all the Talmidei Chachamim, wherever it's parked, all the Talmidei Chachamim say, no, it's not yet a kinyan. He can't be Mekadesh the woman. Not so simple. According to Rish Lakish, the fact the Bacher gave Tzvi money, 16,000, and the motorcycle is in Tzvi's house without meshicha, who's the one and only owner? Tzvi. The Bacher who wants to marry the girl, he's not the owner, therefore he cannot use it to Mekadesh the woman. According to Rabbi Yochanan, let's say the Bacher goes to the garage and tells the girl, without meshicha, there's a question how you can do it, maybe with a sudar, he tells the girl, Haret Mekudeshesli be'ofano hazeh kedas Moshe v'Yisrael. Let's be outside with a chuppah, she's married. Why? Because midoraisa, the motorcycle does belong to the boy. Because midoraisa, the fact he gave the money did make it his. Without meshicha, only Rabbanan are the ones who required meshicha and annulled the money. And they didn't annul it regarding Eshes Ish. They only annulled it vis-a-vis monetary business. But when it comes to, midoraisa, they say be'etzem the motorcycle belongs to the boy who gave the cash. And therefore, legabe that it's his, that Chachamim were not mafki'ah, they did not completely annul the whole business. They annulled it for kinyan hefker based in hefker. For the Ramban says, the hefker based, the Chachamim can play around with money, but not with kiddushin. So midoraisa, we go back to the origin and say, really, kinyan kesef worked in its origin, and therefore the boy, le'inyan, that is the owner of the motorcycle, and they're happily married, and she's an Eshes Ish, because she received the motorcycle, even though he did not do meshicha. Let's say just 1 centimeter gives her the motorcycle. Not chalipi. No, it's kinyan kesef midoraisa. Because kinyan kesef midoraisa works according to Rabbi Yochanan, so Chachamim were not completely mafkiya, and therefore, if there was lemaisa kiddushin on something obtained by money, we don't completely, annihilate it. and we say the remnants of kinyan deraisa stay, and therefore that girl is mekudeshes. Mashekel and Firish Lakish, which is mekudeshes. Firish Lakish kinyan kesef never started. It's 0 times 0. Rashi. There's another nafkamina, which I'm not saying now, which we should have known from previous sugya, but we'll talk about it later. Yeah, Tzvi has been waiting very patiently, not on his motorcycle. Yeah. Okay, to be continued. Now, Omarove. Nice line here, starting as follows. Omarove. Ooh, now we need a small introduction, and I would like to use the whiteboard, but I'm not using it because I can't open the window. Omarove. Before we continue, I want to introduce to you the pasuk which I know you know. Maybe I should have the whiteboard. The pasuk in Vayikra Hey, it's a pasuk that we've seen in Bava Kama, we've seen it in other places. That pasuk talks about, I'm not yet reading the Gemara inside. The pasuk describes a person who lied about money. I'm using very big words. He lied about someone else's money, in 5 different ways mentioned in the pasuk. Which means, what do you mean lied about money? Let's say Reuven asks Shimon, I believe you either stole my hat, or you found my hat, and I know you have my hat that you found and you're hiding it from me, or you owe me money because I did. Or the third one is you either or pikodon, I deposited my hat by you, and where is it? These are 3 cases, and another one. The cat ate it, of course, yeah. And the 2 other cases mentioned in the Torah, or you owe me salary because I worked for you, because I drove the motorcycle for you and I sent you pizza. I did work for you, and you're holding back my sechar, my salary. Or another one, I lent you money and you didn't return me the money. And the person says, no, mapitom, and he swears that he doesn't owe him, with all the details of Shavua, not going into that. Later on, the person who swore break down in tears in front of the cameras, or not in front of the cameras, and he says, I lied. What does he have to do? He has to pay the object, he has to pay the money, plus and choimish, a 5th, and a korban, osham. If you noticed, I'm not playing games here with my fingers. If you divide the 5 items mentioned in the Torah, the 5 types of payment, and I'm telling this in advance, can be divided into 2 types. This Gemara is a tricky Gemara, and when I learned it 2 or 3 times, I found it most beautiful. There are 3 types of claims here. There are 5 types of claims. 3 of them belong to one party, the other 2 to the other party. When I tell you, you stole something from me and you have that item in your house, that's 1, right? You found my hat in the street. It is my black hat in your back garden. 3, I gave you the hat to look after. It's a specific tvia on real hardcore money or hardcore object. The other 2 tvias are what? General. I did work for you. You owe me money in the air. Bank transfer, right? Or I lent you money. When I lend you money, milve lohoitso'o nitna. I lend you money. You don't owe me the same money, of course, with the same picture of Washington or whoever. You owe me what? You owe me money in general, new money, right? So we have 3 cases here, and that's instead of the whiteboard. You have a whiteboard in your own minds. You have 3 cases here where you owe me a specific object, right? So I claim and you deny, and we have the whole business until you break down and you admit. The other 2 are general, in the air kind of chiyuvim. I did the job for you. I painted your fence. Yeah, you owe me money. I don't know, dollars, shekels, checks, credit card, money. Yeah, or you owe me money because I lent you. You owe me back the money. These are the 2 categories. Okay, 3 and 2. That's all. It's very simple. What does that have to do with Shlakish and Rabbi Yochanan? Now we're going to see. Omar Rove, says Rove, Kro umasnisa, the pasuk. I have a pasuk, Kro umasnisa, and also a Mishnah, Misaya lel Rish Lakish. I have a pasuk in the Torah, and also a Mishnah that both, how would I say, endorse the opinion of Rish Lakish. Rish Lakish is usually not the one who wins against Rabbi Yochanan. Here we want to say Rish Lakish is right, proving his point both from a pasuk and the Mishnah. Rish Lakish's proof from the pasuk You have to hold cup. It's very cool and tricky. Kro, what is the pasuk that proves that Rabbi Rish Lakish is right? Again, what did Rish Lakish say? Again, Rish Lakish and Rabbi Yochanan argue in biblical terms. They argue, did the Torah, forget about Chazal for a minute, yeah? According to Rish Lakish, the Torah never recognized kinyan kesef, right? True. Midoraisa, kesef doesn't buy you neither love nor nothing, except for karka, no metaltelin, and only meshicha is the name of the game. That's Rish Lakish. What does Rabbi Yochanan say? No. Rabbi Yochanan says, no, midoraisa, yeah. Midoraisa, money, of course. Midoraisa, money does buy you the metaltelin, right? Going back to pre-Rabbanon, Rabbi Yochanan says money is koine before Rabbanon came, and Rish Lakish says money is not koine. We're going to prove from our story of the 5 items that are a point of discussion, a fight between the litigants, that's going to prove Rish Lakish's point that money is not koine. Let's look how shticky. It says in the Torah, as I just told you, the kichesh ba'amitoy, a person denies to his friend, not such a good friend, the pikodon. What's pikodon? Deposit, regular deposit. I deposited my hat by you. Where's my hat? Oy betzumis yad. Tzumis yad is a loan. I don't lend a hat because that's not called lending. Lending is money in Hebrew. Yeah, halva. Tzumis yad, meaning what? Excuse me, I lent you money. Where's the money? And he lies that he never actually took the loan. Oy begezel, you stole. That's again something specific. You stole my black hat, the Borsalino. Give it back to me. That's gezel. Oy oshak es amisoy. By the way, it's not asak, it's ashak. What's lashok? Lashok is to steal. Oshak es amito means unpaid salary. No. Unpaid. That's neshich. No. It's ashok is no. Oshak is, we don't have time. Sorry, I don't mean rudely. Oshak es amitoy means unpaid salary. You owe me my wages, my salary, call them what you want. You owe me the maskoret, science fiction, the person doesn't pay on time. Hey, you owe me my salary. Now the 5th one, which is not mentioned here in the Gemara, but is in the Torah, is a Veda. I know you found my black hat. Give it back to me. Okay. So again, we have 5 items here, right? And 3 of them are specific items. Here it is in your house. And 2 of them, which one are the 2? We have to remember those 2 mainly, is unpaid salary or a loan. Says the Gemara, Tzumis Yad, Omar of Chizda, you know when the person is chayav on the korban, if he lied and then admitted, Kigon sheiched loy kli lahalva osoi. Comes of Chizda, and I'm following Rashi here because we don't have time. Rashi says as follows. All 5 had to be the same, meaning even the case of a person who lent money, Tzumis Yad is lending the money, we're not talking here about a person who lent money and claimed money. We say, no. The case over here also, we're trying to make everything uniform, unanimous. The halva also talks about me claiming a specific object from you. What do you mean? Let's say when I lent you the money, and I say, you have such a beautiful black hat, height of fashion of any bocher from Hebron. Yeah, I'm lending you the money. I'm lending you 1,000 shekels. But right from the start, and that's important to know, right from the start, I'm not such a nice guy. Either give me the money, yeah, the 1,000 shekels, or I have my eyes on your hat. That's called in English collateral, right? Yeah, I think so. I don't know. It's called in English. Then it's called an erovoin or picodoin. I think it's collateral. In other words, yeah, the hat that you have, maybe it's not by me. Your hat is your guarantee. No 1,000 shekels. It's the hat. Then came 30 days. I say, excuse me, Rebele, where's my 1,000 shekels? And you lie. Exactly what was the lie? Let's say he lies about the hat. I say, hey, your hat is what you owe me about what for the loan. And the guy says, no, I don't. Either he says, I don't owe you anything, according to Rashi. According to Ritva, he says, I don't owe you the hat. I owe you, but not the hat. So now, Lemaisa, why are we talking about a specific object? Rashi learns, and the Gemara seems to be learning, that all 5 cases have to be a pikodon, a kfira, denial of not a general money, of a specific object that, listen to this, that belongs to the claimant, to the one claiming. Get it? In other words, what? Again, The Torah, according to Rashi, let me read one more line and then I'll summarize. Oishek, what's Oishek mentioned in the Torah? Amar of Chizda, Kigon Sheichud lo Kli Oshkoi, which means, let's say I owe you money for what? For painting my house. Wouldn't be a bad idea to paint the walls in my corridor. And I say, Tzvi, you're such a talented guy. I'm now telling you, please paint my corridor. And you say, it's 1,000 shekels. I say, listen, Tzvi, I'm in advance telling you I'm out of cash, but I have a beautiful hat, watch, whatever. I have a hat for you worth what 1,000 shekels, and that will be your salary. You finish your job, and then you tell me, Akiva, where's my hat? And I say, hat? Which hat? What? You painted my house? No. And I'm lying at him, nishbal shekel. And then I admit, which means the Torah wants to talk to us only about this whole story of what? A guy claiming, yeah, then a guy denying and swearing l'shekel, and then admitting. That whole Maisa, according to Rashi, is only true if the claimant, the plaintiff, the tovea, has a kli. Listen carefully to the next two words. A kli belonging to him in the house of the liar. So if it's an aveda, clear, it's my aveda that you found, or stuff that you stole, or something I gave you. That's the three cases. The other two cases, we want to convert them also. The case of a salary or a case of a halva, we want to convert them also, instead of being something up in the air, to specific kalim. Either I promised you I'll pay your salary in the form of this hat and this hat only, and I lie about it. That's asik. And the other thing of tzumes is I lent you money, and when I lent you, it's as if I bought your hat. Because it says, if you don't give me back the money, your hat is mine right from the start. And therefore, when you deny and you lie about the item, you lie about the item belonging to me. Listen to what's happening here. Listen to what's happening here. Basically, we're saying, let's focus now on one of them on purpose, one called what? The halva. When I lent you the money and I said, Mister, I'm not such a nice guy. If you are not giving me back the money before I give you the cash, I'm telling you, your hand is on my radar. Then really, I gave you the money. It's as if to a point I bought your hat that with the money. And now when I lie, when the guy lies, the one who owes, it's as if he's holding back the hat that really belongs to the plaintiff. That seems to be against Rish Lakish, because we're basically saying with money of the loan, it's as if he bought the item, he bought the hat that is now claiming. Listen to the magic of Rish Lakish. Rish Lakish is doing an unbelievable job. Says the Torah, says the Gemara, if you look carefully, and I was blown, my mind was blown, I never noticed it. If you look at the next pasuk over there, the Torah mentioned the same story, not the same story. The Torah says, if he gave him all 5 items, and then he lied about what? About One item of the 5 is missing. The case of the missing item. Listen to this. The Chi Ahad Rikro, when the Torah mentions the items again, the 5 different types of debts, see, it says, listen to this, let's say he was choite, he was sinful, and then he was to be blamed, and he took the blame upon himself, and he admitted that he lied, l'sheker, nishba l'sheker. The Heshiv, now he has to, obviously, first step, he has to return the object. What does he have to return? It's like zela sher gozal, that's a theft. Oishek asher oshak, he has to pay the salary, or the hat in the form of salary. Oyas a pikodon sher hofked itoy, and that's a pikodon. And also aveda. What is missing? There's a missing item. The ilut sumis yad loy ahadrei. The Torah tells you something unbelievable. The Torah mentions 5 items and then deliberately omits sumis yad. The case of halva'ah, the case of the person who actually lent money for an item, according to the way we're driving now, and now claims the item, and the person lies about the item that was kivyochol bought through a loan. Regarding that, enachinami, you know what? If he lies about that, he's not going to have to give a korban. He won't. The Torah misses it on purpose. My time, Rish Lakish is now celebrating big time. You know why the Torah is actually omitting it? To tell you in your face, lav mishum The mechzera meshicha. That's Rish Lakish's proof. Before we discuss it, that's the basic now. Rish Lakish says as follows: the Torah tells you that if you actually lent money in order to get the hat back, either cash back or the specific black hat with that golden thing back, and you bought it with money, if later on you claim it, of course the guy's a liar. That we say is not considered to be an item bought by the lender. It's considered as a general halva. Of course, the guy has to give money, but the hat doesn't belong to him. And the Torah, as what I tried to tell before, regarding the korban, you only owe korban in chomesh, that dramatic thing, only if you mamish take an item that already belongs to the claimant. And because only money was given and no meshicha, that's why it does not belong to the Tovea, because that's Rish Lakish who tells you that money doesn't buy metaltelin. That's Rish Lakish's proof. That's the beginning. I'll revise. The Torah tells you about 5 different types of kinyanim, of claims. They all have to be, you may ask why, it's a good question. The Torah, according to Rashi, only mechayiv you the extra money and the extra korban if you lied not about general money, but an item that already belongs to the one who claims it. Yeah. One of the 5 cases is conveniently omitted from the end of the parsha to tell me halacha does not apply to that item. Which item is that? That's the halva. When I lent you money, which is like giving money in order to hopefully either get the money or get the hat. So now the hat is not mine because they only gave money for it. And that's why you don't owe me the korban and the chomesh. Of course, you owe me money, but you don't owe me the hat. Because if I bought the hat from you with money, that's not called kinyan. And that's exactly Rish Lakish. That's what Rish Lakish said. I prefer no questions because it will really crystallize as we go along. Rav Papa wants to ask now Rav a very, very, very clear question. Wait a second. What about who's if you follow out of those 5 items, who's the best friend of halva? Who's the other one who's a bit up in the air? Salary, right? But the salary we said what? The wages, yeah. What? The same page, right? And yet salary was mentioned in the Torah in the second group, yeah. Maybe you so excited, you're telling me that the Torah omitted. The Torah omitted what? The Torah omitted which one? Omitted the halva, because when you lend for money and the lend is really a sale because you really want the item, the hat, that we say is not considered anything. That's not true. Maybe it is included in oishek, which means just like the salary is mentioned. And what about salary? We say, what? If you do the work for me, you do the work for me, right? And very good. And I told you right when you started, listen, you paint my wall, I have no thing to give you. But you're nice yeshiva bacher, I'll give you the hat. And then I deny the hat. I do owe it to you. Oh, that I do owe. Maybe halva is included in oishek, in the salary, because they're both together, they're both friends, they're both the oddballs, the odd ones out. So maybe it is mentioned in the Torah, and that's actually against Rish Lakish. Maybe it's mentioned derech agav together with the oishek, and that's good with Rabbi Yochanan actually against Rish Lakish, meaning if there was an exchange of money and only money, maybe then I do owe you the hat. Yeah? Answers the Gemara, no. No. Oishek, no. Oishek is a different story, says the Gemara. We can explain oishek, meaning unpaid salary, kigon shenot lo mimeno, b'chazov efkido etzloi. Wow. You know, no. Really unpaid salary, even in the form of a hat, according to Rish Lakish, should not be sworn about, should not be given chomesh v'osham. Why? Because when you paint my wall, it's like giving me money. You gave me money in the form of painting the wall. And when you give money for a hat, the hat is not yours, right? You know why really oishek, the unpaid salary, is in the group? You know why it made it to the list of 4, not 5? You know why? Because really, the story was as follows. Really, you painted my wall, you painted my garden wall, I gave you the hat, then you stupidly gave me the hat to look after as a pikodoin, second stage, and now you claim it. You understand? Meaning the hat was really, really in your hands with meshicha. You bought the hat by meshicha. That works. That works, Lefi Resh Lakish, right? Okay. And then you mafkid it again. And now you claim what was your salary, and now it's a regular pikodon. And that's why everyone would agree there was meshicha. That's why in the oishek, but that's only by oishek, by not by the salary. Not by the loan. Not by the loan. Correct the Gemara, a clear question with an answer. Hainu pikodon. Excuse me. Who cares? One of the 5 items, one of the 3 good ones, one of the 3 solid ones, is when I deposited something of mine by you. So then, Frag the Gemara, well, if you want to tell me that the salary was paid and was bought by meshicha and then again deposited pikodon, right? Then it's just a regular pikodon. Who cares about the history of it? Who cares if I bought it in Marks and Spencer or I got it from you as a salary? Now it's a pikodon. Answers the Gemara, Trey Gavni pikodon. I'm not sure why. The Gemara learns it's 2 types of pikodon. One pikodon is regular, something I bought in the store and I gave you to look after, and one of them is the pikodon of what? That you paid me my salary, I took it, and then I gave it back to you. But Lemaisa, wait a second. So Lemaisa, where are we holding now? Now we want to say, no, now we want to say something very, very funny, kivyochol. Yeah? We say the what? By Asek, when we talk about Oishek, excuse me, when we talk about the salary, we say, you know why the salary, according to, we are in Rish Lakish now. You know why the salary should be paid? You know what the salary, meaning, not should be, in the case of the salary, that was a hat, there was, or any item that was given and then given back, of course, there was meshicha. He got the salary in the form of an item and gave it back to him. But meshicha, that's a pikodon. But when it comes to what? When it comes to a loan, no. In a loan, you don't have, loan is not mentioned as a specific item because it was just money given to the borrower, and the hat was sort of bought / promised, and that is not really called a kinyan, it's only kesef. The obvious question is, wait a second, there are 2 bad boys in class. There are 2 bad boys in the group, right? One of them is a loan, the other one is unpaid salary. We found a solution for unpaid salary to settle it down, yeah, to localize it and say, yeah, it was given, b'meshicha, really given, and then was given again pikodon. Why can't you use the same solution for a loan? Frag the Gemara, if so, sumis yad nami. A loan also, you can say exactly the same scenario, same solution, sumis yad, lehadre. Yeah, we can say also, let's say that lehadre, the Torah should mention sumis yad as the fifth kind of debt mentioned in the second pasuk. Belukme and explain sumis yad of a loan, kigon shenot lo himenu. Yeah, the hat was given to the who? To the lender. Yeah, he's owed, yeah, to the lender, right? And then the chazer v'fkida etzloi, and then he deposited the hat in his hands, right? Get it? In other words, why are you discriminating? We have 2 problematic cases, which the normal case, unless you make a ukimta, yeah, the normal case, you're a shlakish, you're not happy with, right? Because it's general choiv. Yeah, you owe me money through a salary, you owe me money through a debt, yeah, that is not something that would make it to the pasuk. So we find a good solution. Very good. Oh, we found a solution for who? For the one of the asek, yeah, the salary was properly given and then again redeposited, and the ace and the halva. By the way, Rish Lakish is actually happy. Why? Because the halva, there was no solution for the halva. The halva remained only with money without meshicha, and from the fact that the Torah omitted it, we know, the Torah omitted it. Now we know that money does not value metaltelin. I'll repeat again. It's complicated. I'll repeat again. Rish Lakish, let's summarize it. Rish Lakish wants to say one thing. Let's just get one thing. Out of all 5 items, there's one item which is not mentioned because that item does not belong really to the one who claims it. That's the item of alvo. I gave you money. Money is cash. Is not meshicha. I gave you cash, and I have my eyes on your hat. If you don't give me the cash, that hat became mine. No, it's not mine, because money is not going to anything metaltelin, and precisely because of that, the Torah omits it. Because of that, the Torah says no, and if you claim the hat which is up in the air, which only money was given and not meshicha, says Rish Lakish, that's where the Torah omits it. But now we're asking a question, according to Rish Lakish, why does the Torah omit it? L'choira, we could find a solution, l'shitoscho, just like the ASEC, which is the unpaid salary. We said the unpaid salary became something paid and concrete, and there was meshicha given to the item, and then after the meshicha was redepositing, we could say the same thing about what? About the hat. And here goes out, and then your proof goes out the window. Says, I appreciate you staying 2 more minutes because we can't stop here in the middle. Says something brilliant, says Rish Lakish. Had the Torah mentioned both of them together, meaning if the Torah would have mentioned nicely all 5 items, including a salary and including what? Including the loan, if all of them would be mentioned, lo tiyuvta velo siyata. It wouldn't be a question on me. It wouldn't be helping me. In other words, why would the Torah mention all items? It wouldn't teach me anything, right? I'm telling you, I want to teach you something here. The Torah wants to teach you a concept here called what? The Torah wants to teach you a concept that kesef doesn't buy, only meshicha buys, right? When I gave the loan or gave something of money for the item, it's not anything. But if the Torah would have mentioned all of them, then either I would be right or Rabbi Yochanan would be right. Yeah. In other words, you couldn't either explain it like me, really, that there was a ripikodon, and that's why you owe it to him because it was meshicha. Or, by the way, what's Rabbi Yochanan thinking all the time? Rabbi Yochanan is sitting nicely all the time saying, ma pitom. What does Rabbi Yochanan believe? Rabbi Yochanan says no. Rabbi Yochanan says, when I lent you money for the hat, or when I painted the wall for you for the hat, that is a kinyan. Rabbi Yochanan believes kinyan is good kinyan money midoraisa, and I own your hat that you owe me because I gave you the money for it, right? Now, says L'shlak is something very, very logical. Says, if all of it would be mentioned, I wouldn't have known, yeah, is Rabbi Yochanan right or am I right? In other words, you can explain both cases, either that there was a specific pikodon or there was just exchange of money. Hashta, now, Deloy ahad rikro Messiah full stop. Now we came to a point where we can rest. Says something genius. The fact that we have 2 bad kids in class, the fact that we have Oishek and we have Tzumes Yad, one of them we find a solution and one we don't, that accentuates, that actually shows you that the Torah tells you sometimes we may find the solution of saying there was a pikodon b'meshicha, and sometimes we don't. But that is only because meshicha is a required condition. That's only true according to me, Rish Lakish, not according to Rabbi Yochanan. Meaning, according to Rabbi Yochanan, there's no reason in the world why Tzumes Yad and Oishek would be different. No way. Why? Rabbi Yochanan is very straight. He says one thing: money is koina. If money is koina, make up your mind. Then money was koina both by halva and by the salary. No difference. Lefi Rabbi Yochanan, why is the Torah missing one and not the other? It doesn't make sense. Irish Lakish tell you no. The Torah did something weird to catch your attention. The Torah says, listen, in order to really be chayiv, you really have to have meshicha. So we portray 2 cases. One you chayiv, one you're not. You know why? Because one of them fulfills the extra condition of meshicha, which is required because money is not enough. And the other one, there was no extra meshicha and pikodon, only money, and money is not enough, and that's mirror. Took us 3 times to read the Gemara. You may want to watch it again. It's brilliant. It's Gemara in its beauty and depth. And if you wouldn't be 1031, I'd repeat it, and tomorrow we'll revise it. And you can watch me online. Today, what you can do with Sorbatives? You can watch a sad movie about the Churban, and you can also watch the sad me, giving the Shiur. Okay? And you can watch it again and again until you chap it, and you can revise it tomorrow, Metzia Hashem. May we have a meaningful fast, and I hope Mashiach comes before I get my coffee migraine and before any more tzoros happen. Chas v'shalom. May we have Mashiach here very soon. Come and greet him with a motorcycle. And I'm actually open to your questions now. That's